Yo, what's going on? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That means time for another live stream. Today is Thursday, October 21st, 2025. It was my kids' first day of school. I mean, they went back to school for a little bit, meet the teacher kind of thing yesterday, get their lockers all set up, drop off school supplies, but that was only for like an hour or less than an hour each. Today was the first full day of school. They took their poster pictures outside the front door and everything too. So it was a fun and eventful morning. And then it got super quiet in the house, which I don't know. It was a weird feeling to have today. So that's been my morning so far today. Tested out some new shoes since the last time we talked. We could talk about that a little bit today too. But before we get too far into that, let's say hi to everyone listening on the audio only version on the podcast. Guys, the weather here in Crystal Lake was absolutely gorgeous overnight and into today. So hopefully you're getting a taste of that right now as you're listening to this at the tail end of your workout as you're starting your cool down. And for everyone else watching this later but not live, welcome to the number 1 drive time radio show for runners that is neither aired at drive time nor on the radio. But hopefully, maybe filling out your expense reports, doing anything like checking out, clearing out that email inbox is going well while you got this all in the background. All right, let's see what we got here in the chat today. AJ's, oh my goodness, is this real? AJ says, rest in peace, Bob of Bob and Brad. I was just thinking about Bob and Brad yesterday because, I mean, that's sad. I mean, I forget which one of Bob and Brad had been struggling with some health issues before. But that's a bummer. The most famous physical therapist on the internet. Yeah, but I was just thinking about him the other day because I was watching someone's YouTube video. I've been doing a lot of work, and in the background I have a lot of YouTube videos on. And someone, I think with an Australian accent, or maybe a British accent, I can't remember. It's not that I confuse those two, which I sometimes do, but not usually. But someone that lives very far away from Bob and Brad, who are in Wisconsin, Minnesota, was saying one of their favorite recovery tools is a Bob and Brad massage gun. And I was like, what a small world. So I was just thinking about them yesterday. So that's sad news to hear about that. Mark says, hello all. I'm hoping to get out the door for a run again sooner than later. Our home all week has been the sight of a toddler with hand, foot, and mouth, a needy 6-week-old, and overall very little sweet. Oh my goodness. Dude, hand, foot, and mouth is the worst. That's the dirtiest word you could tell to a parent of young kids. That stuff is so serious and it's so annoying. Oh my goodness. I feel for you, Mark. And I don't know if he's here, but I don't know if you guys saw, but Patrick Odedina, who's normally here in the live stream, he and his wife had their baby. So Patrick, are you here? I don't see him here in the chat so far. But yeah, they had their baby. I don't want to steal all his news, so when he comes in here, we'll give the baby a welcome cowbell. But they had their baby, and so I saw that on Instagram, and I was really happy that everyone is healthy and happy. Yeah, Stephen C said, was it Cole? It might have been Cole Running. It could have been. And I was like, how does Cole Running know? I mean, I guess it's Amazon. It's a big product, and Bob and Brad have a very aggressive sales team or product seeding team. So makes sense that he would have it, but I think that's what it was. It might have been a Cole Running. Patrick says we're all here. Awesome. So good to see you guys, or I see you guys in air quotes. But congratulations on the baby. Yeah, it's wonderful to hear the good news. I'm glad you guys are all doing okay. Awesome. Patrick says Levi is sleeping but subconsciously listening. Well, that baby may have a couple of hours in utero of listening hours, over the course of his young life already. So ahead of the curve. All right. Getting to Run says, yo, what's going on? Just did a 6-mile bike ride on my lunch break because the weather was so nice and have a group run later that will be very rainy. Whew, well, sorry to hear about the rain, but isn't it nice that the weather's so good? Like this morning, overnight, we slept with the windows open, which we haven't done that in this house in a long time. And then it was foggy out. I mean, it's still pretty humid out there today. Like when I went for my run, I was soaked in sweat by the end, even though it was really comfortable out. But yeah, today it was like the first day of school. We slept with the windows open last night. It was foggy and chilly this morning. I felt like this is a great way to start the school year. It feels like fall. Like if the kids had worn hoodies to school, that would have made sense to me, you know? So, I feel like it was an appropriate way to start the day. And I gotta tell you, I have a weird phobia. Speaking of with the windows open, I am very afraid of sleeping with the windows open. And have I told you guys I feel like I've told you guys about this. Stop me if you've heard this one before. But, like I am convinced that if you sleep with the windows open too much, you will get sick. You will have a cold when you wake up in the morning. So it's hard for me to sleep with the windows open. I mean, it's nice because it's comfortable, but like, and I don't have a problem with it. Like, I don't feel the urge to get out of bed and shut the windows or anything like that. So it's not really a phobia, but if the windows are open at night, I have an urge to go shut them all. I have to consciously not shut them. It's not a safety issue. I'm not worried that someone's going to come in or anything like that. But I'm worried that I'm going to get sick. So yeah, I do have to like be like, no, it's fine. We're going to leave that open. Yeah. Mark says more likely it'll be allergies than a cold. Yeah. I don't know. But like I don't usually like to sleep with the windows open. It's pleasant when you wake up and you're like, it smells like the outside in here. It's nice. I enjoy all those things, but there's something inside that's like, this isn't right. We gotta do something about it. You know, Gabrielle Rylanu says, this is such a Romanian or Eastern European thing. Is it really? So it's not just me. Okay. Thomas Wen says, it doesn't bother me, but if I'm on an upper floor sleeping with the windows open. Okay. Yeah, see, so my daughter, my younger daughter was like, I don't know if we should sleep with the windows open. And my wife's like, it's absolutely fine to sleep with windows open. And she's like, well, what if someone comes in the middle of the night, the window's wide open? So she has a security issue of it, but she has her bedrooms on the second floor. All our bedrooms are on the second floor. So we're like, no, ain't no one get there. She's like, what if they bring a ladder? I'm like, our ground's too wet. The ladder would tip over. They can't get up there. She's like, oh, okay. Getting to Run says, my allergies could never. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. My older daughter has some environmental allergies, so maybe it wouldn't work well for her. But my allergies are fine. But I did wake up today. When I woke up today, after I just went through all this and saying, like, I'm pretty good with it, it's not really a phobia, I did wake up today and I was like, I think I have a sore throat. Do I have a sore throat? Maybe I have a sore throat today. So, I don't know. Something to unpack there. I have no idea. All right. Gabrielle goes on to say, like, in Eastern Europe, people believe that the wind will make you sick. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me. On a related note, when I was in the Matatu, I think that's what they're called, the vans in Kenya, and I'd heard, because I read Running with the Kenyans and stuff, so I was ready for it. But when we finished the long run and they drove us all back to the camp, the windows were up the entire time. I did open the window for a little bit so I could stick my camera out and film some of the other runners that were on the road. But like the moment I put my camera back in, windows had to be closed again. So different cultures have different things on that. But it's not like, this isn't like a Korean thing where like I grew up and my mom was like, no, you can't. I mean, maybe she did. I don't know. But I don't think it's a Korean thing. I don't think it's a cultural thing. I just think that there's something happened to me at some point where now I feel like this is a bad idea. Melvin Ewing says, sounds like more of a superstition than a phobia. Either way, you're an RA Filipino. Is that a Filipino thing? I do feel like of all the other Asian cultures other than Korean, I feel like I identify most with the Filipinos, I would have to say, for sure. Vanessa says, I can't sleep with the closet door open, let alone with the windows open. My older daughter is the same way, to the extent that the kids' rooms are on the other side of the house as our rooms. And then in between, there's like the laundry room is in between. But like, my older daughter will sometimes come from her room across the house and close my closet and then leave and then go to bed. She loves closing doors. My wife, though, and she recognizes that she has a thing about it too. She has to always double, triple check all the locks on it, to the extent where she's like me. I'm working on the Windows thing. She's working on the door locking thing. And so she thinks that she is the one that made my daughter the one that has to close all the closet and bathroom doors before she goes to bed. Mark Peterson says, I have a phobia of sunflowers. They're just so big. I'm sorry. If that's for real, I don't mean to laugh. But I feel like with sunflowers, have you ever looked at a sunflower real close? It's super gross. It's like those people that have phobias of strawberries when you look at it like just a macro photo of a strawberry. You know, some people have a problem with that. I feel like those people probably hate sunflowers. It looks super gross on the inside. James says, I always sleep with the windows open and I usually don't get sick. Interesting. Paul Lewis says, we prefer to sleep with windows open than sleeping with AC. It just gets too hot. There's a lot of times of this summer. I mean, maybe I'm not built for heat. I think we've all understood that so far. That I'm not good at heat and I cannot sleep if it's hot. And so, yeah, we sleep with air conditioning on for sure. Wojtek says, my Garmin told me today that you'll have a good race over there. Good luck, Mike. Oh, thanks, Wojtek. I told Wojtek in Berlin that my Garmin said he was going to have a good race. And then the Garmin ended up being wrong, Wojtek told me. So sorry about that. But yes, Sydney Marathon is in 10 days now, I think. I'm going to be leaving Monday. I'm glad I checked my itinerary like a third time because I thought I was leaving Tuesday. But I'm leaving Monday. I have an evening flight. I could probably still do live stream, but I just have so little that I have figured out so far for this trip that I'm getting really nervous about it. Like I was just reading through some emails and you have to like apply for entry into the country using this app. Sports Tours told me about this and they're like, your approval will usually happen in about 20 minutes, but just in case, it's recommended that you do this at least 4 weeks ahead of time. And I was like, I'm leaving Monday, guys. So, yeah. So I'm a little bit nervous about stuff like that. I think I'm getting there before my Sports Tours hotel room starts. And I didn't book a hotel yet for I think I need at least one night of hotel before then, maybe two. So like, I'm just super unprepared for this trip. So I'm just freaking out. I would like to get a shakeout run scheduled, but I haven't even looked at like what my itinerary is yet because I did go to the Sports Tour shakeout run and I don't even know where that's going to be. And so then I'm trying to plan another one and I'm trying to get Runner Beans and Aubrey involved. And I feel I'm the holdup on it. And so I'm feeling overwhelmed about all this stuff. Getting Torrent says, make sure to give us a hotel tour in Sydney, film it upside down. Should I really film it upside down? I think the one thing that I'm guaranteed going to do is flush the toilet to see which way it goes. But here's the thing. First, I'm going to flush the toilet here because mentally I can't think of which way the toilet flushes. You know? So then I'd have to put them next to each other, a side by side, or top and bottom, since it's going to be vertical video, you know? All right. Let's see. Eric has 3 weeks until Run Rabbit 100. Good luck with that race, Eric. Every time I see a video for that race, it looks like the name of the race and the race itself do not match at all. Run Rabbit 100 sounds pleasant, but the terrain of that course seems brutal to me. So I wish you the best of luck on that one. Steve Zabrowski is hoping in Florida for the first window opening before 2026. Oh man, I don't know how you guys are doing it. But here's one thing that I will say. I had not a long run, but I had a long run type effort on Sunday. It wasn't that hot, but it was humid and it was warm enough that, you know, I did 13 and a half miles with 10 of them at marathon effort. It was warm enough that was really probably a little bit harder than I should have run for 2 weeks out from the marathon. But after that evening, I was chilly. And I don't think it was that cold. I mean, I think temps have cooled down, like the heat wave has broken a little bit. So it was a little bit chilly, but I was cold that night. And since then, everything has felt cool lately. So I feel like I broke my heat regulator thing in my brain. Now, today was legitimately cool. So that's different. But I feel like just in time for the end of summer, I've acclimated to the heat. Stevie says, 76 says, you have to also review the Australian porta potties. That's for sure. So should we make a list? What are the things that I need to do? I need to flush the toilet. I need to talk about the porta potties. I'm going to get a flat white because that's the country that invented flat whites, isn't it? That's what I understand. I understand the coffee culture there is pretty good. So, you know, I'm going to try and hit up a bunch of, I think I'll probably hit up a bunch of Starbucks just to make people mad too. And maybe a McDonald's. But I'm trying to figure out what is the stuff that I need to eat there. I'm pretty sure, I'll make sure to get a Foster's beer after the race. And have some shrimp, from the Barbie, of course. But I don't know. You know, like a month ago, 2 months ago, I sat down and watched a bunch of like travel vloggers trips, like 24 hours in Sydney. I was like, oh, that's kind of like the time scale of things that I'll be able to do stuff. So but like, you know, nothing really jumped out in terms of like, you got to go try this food kind of thing. I just get the sense that food is good in Sydney. I get the sense that coffee is great in Sydney. So, but I don't know if there's anything that's like, kind of like if I went to Detroit, you got to get the Detroit style pizza. If you go in Chicago, get an Italian beef or a deep dish, you know, I just don't know. I don't know what else is out there. Super just says you got to go surf. You know, I don't know. I went stand-up paddleboarding the other day, and I feel like my balance has improved quite a bit over the past couple of years. Because I go now at one of the lakes here in Crystal Lake. They have stand-up paddleboard rentals, and I've been going a couple of times a year. My older daughter loves it, and so I think I don't know. I don't think I'm in a position to surf. Probably not after a marathon either. So, yeah. Getting to Run says, document the spiders. Yeah, I hope I don't see any spiders. Stevie76 says, what if they have Vegemite in the aid stations? I guess I will have to have, I'll eat Vegemite. If I could find it somewhere, I'm not going to go out and buy a jar of it. I will do, you know what I am going to do? I am going to try and do like a convenience store haul or a grocery store haul as if I was going to like a Lawson's in Tokyo or a Family Mart. So I am going to do that. Because I think lately what I've been doing, I've been traveling with a lot of snacks. Like I'll buy a sleeve of Pringles because that sits in a suitcase really well. Put that in the bag, and just lots of snacks that I could snack on at night. Because, you do events all day, you're on your feet, and then like you get back to the hotel room and you're like, I kind of need to eat something else, but I don't want to leave. I don't want to order food, And so I think rather than trying to bring a bunch of snacks, also because I just get so paranoid about customs and bringing food and stuff like that, I think I'm going to do like a grocery store haul too. Eric says, make sure you chunder at least once. I'm hoping I won't, but, I am going to run a marathon, a hilly one, so chances are good. Chances are good. All right. Louis says, oh, man, it's been a minute since I had a Foster's. I know. I don't think I've had one in a long time. Guys, my sister-in-law was in town last weekend, and she brought two of her kids, the two kids that are closest to my kids' age. She has older kids. One of them is getting married next year. And so they were in town, and we were like, what do you guys want to do for dinner? And my younger daughter loves Outback Steakhouse. She doesn't eat the steak there. She gets chicken tenders off the kids' menu. But she loves the bread that's there. It's like a little pumpernickel loaf. That's what it is. But she loves Outback. And she'd been talking about Outback Steakhouse. Like, we went the day before my sister-in-law came. And so when we asked them, what do you guys want to do for dinner one night, my nephew, who I used to give a bunch of my old shoes, but now he's a size 12 and a half. He's 13, going on 14. Big kid. And he's like, I've never tried Outback before. Can we go to Outback? I was like, we absolutely can. So like twice in 1 week, I was at Outback. The same hostess was working both nights. And I was like, yeah, we love it here. It's the bloomin' onions. So I feel like I'm culturally prepared to go to Australia now. I went to Outback twice in 1 week. CV76, is there already going to be karaoke with Robbie? I don't think Robbie's going. I think Robbie's going to be at UTMB. And then, but he's not going to be in Sydney. And then, Believe in the Run will be going to Tokyo for World Championships. I don't know if Robbie's on that trip, though. We'll have to see. My meniscus hurt says, crocodile steak or a kangaroo burger? Is that for real? Are you making stuff up? I don't know if I'd eat that. One time I was in Daytona, Florida for work, and we were eating lunch on a pier, and they had gator bites as an option. And I had that. It tasted like chicken. I don't know if it was actually gator or not. It probably was, but I mean, this was years ago. This would have been like, I don't know, 2017, 2016, 2018. I don't know, a long time ago. Luke Talbot wants to know, how hilly is it? That's a good question. I should have looked that up a long time ago. I know there's more elevation gain in this. It's a net downhill race still, but there's more elevation gain than New York. So this is the hilliest of the majors. And I think it's mostly from bridges. So I think it's going to be a lot similar to New York, where it's just like you're constantly running uphill. That's what I think. Adams here, he says, late to the game. Did you talk about Lausanne and the rain? We did not talk about Lausanne. I watched a couple of the races. It poured rain that day, didn't it? Everything looked very dramatic, like cinematically raining. Like, you know how on rain, like when it rains in the movies, they have to basically douse people in water because otherwise it doesn't show up well on camera. That's the kind of rain it looked like they had in Lausanne. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched clips on YouTube. The main one that I remember is watching Noah Lyles get beat. And I mean, I know like at USA's, his 200-meter performance was it a world's best at the time? I know it was a fast race, but I felt like he didn't look invincible, which, I mean, that's a high bar, you know, but I feel like his bravado and his current state is not matching up. And so I'm not nervous for Noah Lyles. That's not the right word. But I feel like it's not a sure bet on anyone at World Championships. No, he's not in the sprints. Kyle Rupp now says, for sure, Australia loves the game meat restaurants. But like you said, pretty much everything tastes like chicken or steak. Okay. So yeah, I thought about that. I was actually just thinking about it today because I was like, well, some of the travel vlog videos that I watched were talking about how like the meat pies are really big. And so I was just like, well, I don't know. I'm trying to open up my diet a little bit more when I'm traveling so that I can make sure that I'm sampling some of the local cuisine a little bit more openly, And I was like, well, if I was in the UK and someone offered me a pasty, I'd be like, yeah, sure. Even if it was meat inside. And so I was like, if there's meat pie, should I eat a meat pie? I don't know. It'll have to be a game time decision, I guess. Johnny Dodgen says, thoughts on the 100-kilometer Adidas shoe /challenge? I think it's super fun. One thing that I do think is weird is that they were like, we wanted to like the way that they marketed like this idea. So let's rewind. So they've been testing this brand new shoe. It's super giant. It's basically like a Mega Blast concept, but even bigger, it seems, or at least it's made to look even bigger. And it's meant to, I think it's like all Lightstrike Pro Evo. So like imagine like a 2.5 stack of Evo, or maybe a double stack of Evo. It's probably not 80 millimeters. It's probably like 50 millimeters tall. I don't know if I think there's not a plate, but it looks like there's a piece of something rigid that goes along the outside of it. So something to keep all that foam stable, I think. And I mean, all I've seen is from social media. I don't have any inside information on it. And they're getting, what's his name? Charlie, that guy out of Boulder. He always puts his Mustang in all his YouTube videos. Lovely guy. And he's there. And they're trying to do, is it 100 kilometers? They're trying to do, like the fastest. Is it a relay? I'm not sure exactly how it works. But the thing that jumped out to me, other than the shoe, is that they're like, we wanted to create this super hard challenge. So we took 100 kilometers and we did it in the heat of summer and we're going to run at night. And I was like, wait, what? What? Just run during the day if you want to make it hot. Like, I didn't understand that part, but maybe I'm just getting caught up on some minute details. I think the shoe looks super fun. I want to run in it. I want it. Yeah. So I thought that the shoe might have been, I don't know if I can talk about it, but we'll talk about it. I'll talk about it obliquely. There was a shoe that I tested when I was in Germany one of the 2 times that was super fun. And I was like, this shoe is ready. It was like a prototype and it was in a fake upper and stuff. But I was like, this shoe is ready. I just want to take this home right now. Can I have this one? And they're like, nope. And I was like, I thought you might say that, but I love this. And I thought maybe that was it, but no, the shoe that I had a different foam than what's in there. And Super Injit says, yes, eat the meat pie when you go to Australia. Okay. Stevie76 says, Matt Fox is back in Australia. I wonder if he'll show up in Sydney. Is he a citizen? Is that how it is? Because when I applied for my entry into Australia, I had to certify that I had not been not even convicted or pled out, but not been charged with any with any crimes. So I don't know. My meniscus cert says, your Morocco video has been your best work, in my opinion, and you tried different foods. I certainly did. Okay. Going back to the track meet in Lausanne, Keely Hodgkinson ran 155 in light drizzle. Hoey ran 142 in a torrent, and the women's stipple were shivering waiting for the start. Wow, I didn't see those results. That's amazing. Man, I think, both, something to note, I think this audience will appreciate it. Both Keely Hodgkinson just started a YouTube channel. The first video was about her return race where she ran that 154. It was a pretty good video. At the time I subscribed, she had 3,500 subscribers. Last night I looked at it, or maybe it was this morning I looked at it, she has 6,000 subscribers. So I think it's only a matter of time before people figure out that she has a YouTube channel. I anticipate that one will explode if she keeps posting to it regularly, even somewhat regularly. Hoey, I think all the videos of him working out I don't think are on his own channel. I think other people have done it. But like, I don't know if you guys know. I guess I don't know. Maybe some of you guys can tell me. But do they have their own track at their house in Pennsylvania? Like him and his brother, their family has a track in their backyard, or I guess on their property, on their ranch or farm or whatever they're calling it. The video that I watched, it starts off with a Porsche Cayenne with the back lid open with like two of the wheels on a track. And I'm like, what kind of idiot is doing that? Why did you park a car on the track? What track is letting you do that? And then it's like a drone shot and it says like Hoey on the track. I'm like, oh, this is your track. Okay. So I was like, okay, interesting, guys. Yeah. They're all interesting runners. Mark says, it's funny that Australia asked a question about criminal history. It's funny coming from a country that has the history that it does, I guess, but all countries ask that when you're entering. Most countries do not allow like convicted felons to enter, unless I guess you have some sort of diplomatic status. Yeah. Brain Squish says only one Mega Blast and one Hyperion Max behind you. Doing a comparison video. Yes, I'm putting together the Sonic Blast video. I'm hoping I wanted to get it out tomorrow, but most likely it'll probably come out at some point next week while I'm in Australia. But yeah. My meniscus hurt says, what do you think of the Avelo Smart Shoe? I think that if it works for someone, that's great. I don't love the idea. I didn't like the marketing. So out of the gate, like the marketing was, it's like the world's first smart shoe. And I was like, that's not true. And also it depends on what you mean by smart. And so I didn't love that. And there was a little bit of, back and forth online about that whole aspect of the marketing campaign. The other aspect of it is that like, it seems like the premise of the company is that someone who worked on, one of the founders I forget what podcast I was listening to, but one of the founders either worked on the foot pod that was embedded in this shoe at Under Armour did, or the foot pod that Nike did. I can't remember. And both of those companies independently killed their projects at different years apart. And no one else has picked it up from there. And I think for good reason. Because I feel like the wearable foot pod is kind of like is the more obvious kind of answer to that. Stride, I think, is an excellent foot pod. But that person worked on one of those two projects. I can't remember which one, and was like, what if those projects were never killed? I feel like there was untapped potential there. And I think that's what the Velo smart shoe is trying to do. I just don't like, on the one hand, I like the idea that like it stays in the one shoe and the one shoe only. And in a way, it makes it easier for the smart device to be able to tell you, hey, you're running very differently in this shoe now. It's probably because the foam is giving out and it's time to get a new one. So I like that idea a lot. The rest of it all, I feel like you're having to buy into a whole other ecosystem of shoes that you have to reject all other shoes in order to be in the Velo ecosystem, which I think is a tough sell. You know what I mean? So I just don't see it. Like, I'm very eager to see if it makes it to market and if people start buying it. And if it ends up working out for people and helping people, I think that's awesome. But if like they were to pitch me on it to come in as an investor, I'd say I think I'm gonna have to pass on this one. Not that I invest in things and not that people pitch me on things, but if they did, I don't know that a Velo would be one that I would drop cash on myself. Luke says, first year at university, we got a UA shoe with a Bluetooth chip or something like in it that you could track your runs on app. They were the worst shoes I've ever worn in my life. Those are like probably the Under Armour Hover CGRs, or like Under Armour Hovers, the old ones. Because I had them too. And I thought that they were pretty cool. Because like at that point, like I didn't have a GPS watch, I don't think. Maybe I did. So a lot of times I was running with my phone to be able to track my runs, or I would just memorize the route and then actually go map it on a map on my laptop afterwards, and then punch in like how long did it take me to figure out paces and stuff. So the idea that like you could not bring a phone, you didn't have to start an app, you didn't have to wait for anything, you could just start running and it would know when you started running. And then when those shoes got back to near your phone again, it would pair with the Under Armour app, running app, which I don't remember which one it is, but it wasn't Runkeeper or Map My Run, one of those. Maybe it was Map My Run. And then it would automatically sync all that stuff. And I thought that was cool because then I don't have to think about it. The shoe knows when I ran. The shoes weren't the best though. That's true. Luke's like, yeah, they were called Hover something. Not sure, but I gave them to my dad. What did you tell your dad? Hey, Dad, these shoes are terrible. You want them? Yeah. Yeah. The guy behind the guy says Charlie Lawrence. Charlie Lawrence is the guy that is in the Adidas videos. And he's the one that also puts his Mustang in every one of his videos. Yeah, I mean the guy's a very talented athlete. So it'd be exciting to see what he could do in those shoes. They look super fun. And I think it's a great idea. I kind of like it. I like the concept. I like the concept of it all. Yeah, I'm eager to see where it goes, you know? Cosmic Pineapple Michael says, Under Armour sold Map My Run back to the founders that year. Yeah, so I feel like at the time that Under Armour bought Map My Run to integrate with its Bluetooth chip foot pod things, every brand was buying one. So like Adidas owns one, Asics owns one, Nike built their own, Under Armour owned one. So that was like the thing that everyone did. And so I think the idea was to like vertically integrate. And so you would have, I'm going to be honest, guys, I'm not always sure what vertically integrated means, but they were going to integrate products in a different kind of way. So that way they were providing like some sort of, I don't think any of them were really providing coaching, but it was like run tracking, a little bit of social media aspect to it. And then also like you could track the mileage on your shoes. And then they would, with Adidas's, for example, they would give you, discounts in the app to be like, hey, Do you want 10% off a shoe or something like that? So yeah. And Cosmo Pino Michael says, Adidas bought Runtastic and ASICS bought Runkeeper. That's right. Yeah. But yeah, it was an interesting time. And now everyone's like, oh yeah, we still have those. Yeah. And Kurt says, I believe Adidas also reached out to David Roche after his Leadville win. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, it'd be kind of hard for him to do that right now, right? They should have called him before the Leadville win, I guess. I don't know. But I feel like Charlie Lawrence and David Roche on the same like relay team is going to be very interesting. I mean, but is it just Charlie? Is Charlie just? I thought it was a relay for some reason, or is it just a straight up race? I don't know. Guy behind the guy says Jonathan Galt's story on the Hoey family track. It says that it cost north of $1 million, not including the land. That sounds about right. I remember talking to Dean Caster about the track in Mammoth that Mammoth Track Club put together. They were able to buy the land from the city of Mammoth for $1. But they had to develop it into a track facility that was open to the public, that the public could use. And I think they also still have to maintain the property. I don't know if it's for a certain amount of years or something like that. But that's how that track came to be there. And that's how, like, you know, it's like a Mammoth Track Club track, which Mammoth Track Club has been associated, at least in part, with ASICS since the beginning. Now it's fully supported by ASICS. But so, yeah. So, like, tracks are not cheap. And then you have to maintain them. So, like, I don't know why a track is so expensive. I mean, it seems to me like it should be cheaper. Like, there isn't a way you can't do it for $500,000 somehow. I mean, it's not like you have to build in hills or jumps. Or you don't even have to put in a water pit. I don't think the Hoey track has a water pit, you know? You got to flatten the land, put down something firm so that way it doesn't sink into the land. And then it has to be very accurately measured is one thing, which is going to take some expense to get that exactly right. And then you put the Mondo surface on it, which I thought, like, wasn't Nike collecting shoes so that they could take the midsoles and the rubber outsoles and turn them into more track materials? I thought that was like a big thing. In high school, that was the thing that they told us about all the time. Every track is made out of old Nike shoes. So I don't know. I don't know why it would cost $1 million to build a track. Luke says, I just need one lane, honestly. Yeah, I mean, the Hoey family track is like 6 lanes across. It's a big one, I think. I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, I feel like you could do well with 2. But I also feel like, you know, if you had the land, right? And my wife, for some reason, even though, like, we're having a hard enough time maintaining the small little parcel we have in our subdivision, still has it in her mind that at some point maybe we'll have acreage. But I'm like, if we had acreage, maybe I'll just find a flat spot and just start running around it in a circle, like mark it out and just start running out until I like wear a path in the grass. I'm like, I feel like that's got to be pretty good, right? And then maybe I get one of those things that basically has a big heavy cylinder on it to flatten the ground, and I just do walks of that. I don't know. Stevie76 says, YouTube video, how to build a track in your backyard. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Do you think that exists? Adam says, no water pit. That's crazy talk. Said the 65 to 69 US Depot champ. I mean, I guess I would want to put a water pit in there. That'd be kind of fun. I mean, yeah, I mean, as long as you could make the track, might as well put in the water pit. Adam, you know, I have been thinking about next summer. I think next summer I might try to compete in the US ATF Masters Championship again. I might go and enter myself in some of the events. I think that's something that, like, I had such a hard time with the heat this summer. I don't anticipate myself getting any better at it in the future. So I'm thinking, let's do shorter stuff. It also helps me relate more to what my daughter's doing, you know? And so I was thinking, well, maybe while she's still interested in running track, I should do some more track meets, you know? Vanessa says, the robo lawnmowers look like fun. Mark and Jen Lewis are living that acreage life. Are they? I didn't know that. I've thought about the robot mower a long time. But what turned me off to them is that like at the Adidas HQ, speaking of Adidas, they use a lot of those because they have a pretty big campus. There's a lot of grass. And there's so much grass that like the different robot mowers are like constantly mowing, basically. And it seems to be very common for those robot mowers to get like tipped over, and then they get or like stuck somehow, like a turtle. It might not be completely flipped over, but maybe it like came over like a ledge somehow a little bit, and now it's like one wheel stuck in the air. It's not doing anything. It's not like the blades still spin. It stops mowing the second it realizes it's not on flat grade. So it's not a safety issue, but it's just like people will have to come and rescue them and like pick them up and then move them to flat ground again. And I was like, I don't know how to deal. I don't want to deal with that. Plus, I think our yard isn't that big, but I think it would be just about the size where like the robot couldn't mow the lawn in one go. Maybe it could. It probably could. At least some of the ones that I looked at in terms of the battery life and what they said, how much square feet it could do at once. And that kind of would bother me, I think, to have like part of the lawn mowed at a time. All right. Adam says next year's USCF ATF Masters track is in Geneva, maybe Ohio, outside of Cleveland. Okay, that'll be closer and less hot than wasn't it Alabama this year? I was like, that's far, and it's going to be way hot. So, yeah. Yeah, so I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about doing it. My daughter also has grand designs. She wants to be able to compete in a national meet next year. So like whether it's like NXN or like New Balance Nationals, she thinks that she wants to be able to try to go. And so I got to kind of figure that out. I'm like, well, we need to talk to your coach too about it to see how we can structure, if he needs to structure your season any differently next year or anything like that. I mean, I think she should prioritize the state meet first. But then after that, like, she wants to try to run nationally. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe we'll be traveling to go some track meets next summer. My meniscus cert says, and family buy an old corn farm and build the track of dreams. I think I would still call it the field of dreams. Field, parentheses, track, and paren of dreams. Maybe. And then Johnny Dodgen says, really enjoyed episode 1 of the City Marathon Training Series. When can we expect episode 2? Hopefully Sunday. And then episode 3 will cover. So next episode will be weeks 5 through 8. Episode 3 will be weeks 9 through 11. And then there'll be a 4th video, which is like tapering in Sydney. That'll be kind of the runner's weekend as well. And then, that'll be the finale of the series. And then I'll also just do like a regular race video too. And then also probably do a race recap as well. Because I feel like since I'm one of the earlier ones, at least from an international perspective, to do Sydney, I know the Sydney Marathon has existed on its own for a long time. I'm not trying to discount that, but I'm hoping that it becomes a popular video just for people that are like, oh, I want to try Sydney. And just like my Tokyo videos were, because at that point still not a lot of people had done Tokyo, and At least people that done it, not a lot of them were in English. Charlie, Runner Beans, was like the one video that I was able to see in English. So I'm hoping to kind of get some traction there. So it'll be a little bit, this Runners Weekend will be a little bit more like, here's how I got around. Here's what I ate. Here's where the expo was. Here's what the corrals were like. So it'll be a little bit more like that. But, hopefully it'll be good. And those videos are a lot of work too and require a lot of voiceover. And I'm like, where am I going to do these voiceovers? I'm going to be on a plane for a long time. You can't do voiceovers on an airplane. And then once I get to Australia, the last thing I want to do is sit around and work for like 6 hours straight, 8 hours straight on a video. But I think that's what I'm going to have to do a little bit. So if I could have planned it better, I wouldn't have done it this way. But here we are. But yeah. Oh, Calvin said, track and field of dreams was right there. It was. That's so much better. That's so much better. Track and field of dreams. Because then I'll just put a pole vault pit on the side. Or maybe in the middle. Dead center. You're right. Calvin says, will the entire video be upside down? No, but you know what I will do? I probably, because sometimes when I make a Runner Weekend video, I usually post something in my Instagram stories. I'll post it so it looks like I made the whole video upside down. But it won't be, because that'd be annoying. But yeah. Johnny Dodgen says, we appreciate all the hard work, Mike. Well, thank you, Johnny. I appreciate that. So he says, record the voiceovers in the plane bathroom. Yeah, I don't think anyone would like that. People would be weirded out because the way that I really do these is like, I'll write out all the stuff and then I'll record all the voiceovers for the entire video. But then I still do need to kind of like, sometimes like, actually that didn't end up working out with the edit of like the running footage that I actually had, And so there's a lot of back and forth with the microphone. So I had to go back and forth to the bathroom all the time. Richard Rebro says, what marathons are in the work for 2026? I don't know. Maybe I might, there's a new one coming into Iowa next year. I think in Cedar Rapids. That's going to be in June in Cedar Rapids. It's going to be so hot. The corn sweat won't be terrible yet, but it'll still be hot and humid. But it should be pretty flat, I think. I don't know. It might probably, unfortunately, be hilly anyway. But that's a new one. I think the only one in the state of Iowa. And so I think I might do that one. Otherwise, I think I'm going to do a lot of half marathons. Hopefully a lot of 5Ks. Hopefully some steeplechases. Maybe I'll hop in an 800. Mainly because my daughter, and maybe a mile or a 1600. Because my daughter is like, I'm faster than you. And so I think I need to put down a time. She's definitely faster than me in the mile. Well, she's maybe faster than me in the mile. Definitely faster than me. Well, yeah. Like her in PR shape and me in PR shape, if I were to train for it like next summer. Our mile times will be pretty close. Her half mile time, I think, is going to be faster than me. So, yeah. Oh, Mark says, Grandma's Marathon 50th anniversary, just saying. Maybe I'll just come up for the weekend. Because I kind of want to ride that train. Has anyone ridden the train in Duluth? It starts at the starting line. And then once the race starts, it goes downtown and takes you back down to Duluth. But I don't know. Yeah, Adam says it's October. My wife told me it was in June. October 19th. Okay, I like that date. Hopefully that's not the same date as Chicago, though. Oh, if they do it the same day as Chicago. I guess that would be good, because if you didn't get it to Chicago, this is a good one to do. Then you train with all the Chicago people, but I have a feeling it's the exact same day as Chicago. And then, maybe next year is finally the year that I do Carlsbad 5,000. I don't know. Wait, the Des Moines Marathon. Des Moines has a marathon? All right, that's October. But I think that there's a new one in Cedar Rapids. I'm pretty sure she said Cedar Rapids. So I'll have to look at that. I remember her telling me June. So anyway, so we'll see. I'll probably run a marathon in Iowa if I can. Vanessa Martinez says, any ultras? I think so. We'll see. I have to sign up for it. Last time I looked, there were still signups available, and I keep forgetting to sign up. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, maybe. And Luis says, did I hear Carlsbad 5000 sizing me up? Well, let's take a look at the calendar and we'll see. And then we can all run together. Okay, yeah. Thomas says June 7th for Cedar Rapids. That's the one that I'm thinking of. Sean Devlin's going to call it the Corn Sweat Classic. Yeah. And then, yeah, so I think that's the one that I think I'm going to try to do. I have to check. When is my niece getting married? I don't think it's June 7th. I think she's getting married in August. So that's going to be a hot wedding. But, yeah. Was I going to look back? I'm looking back for something. Okay. Someone said something about... Oh, Paul. Paul says, Mike, good luck in Sydney. Hopefully I'll see you there. I hope to see you there too, Paul. I think it's going to be a good place to end it for today. Okay. Luis says Carlsbad is on April 12th. Okay. It's usually right around Boston time. That's the hard thing about it. But I think that's like the weekend before Boston. That actually might work out really well. I don't know how fast I'll be able to run then. Hopefully I'll be in a good place. If I'm thinking about the ultra that I'm thinking about, it's kind of close. Not that close. I think I'll be fine. All right, let's talk about some more. I gotta think about all this Australia stuff. I do want to meet a kangaroo. Do you think that'll be possible, or is that not like a thing? Do they not let you get close to kangaroos? I got to figure all this stuff out. Is there a zoo in Sydney? I probably should go to the aquarium too. I'd like to go snorkeling maybe, but I have a feeling it's going to be too cold for that. Anyway, I got a lot of stuff to figure out. I will tell you guys all about it when I get back. So there will be no live streams this week, Monday, or next week, Monday or Thursday. And I think based on the way I'm traveling, I don't know if we'll have a live stream next Monday either. So it might not be for 3 sessions in a row we don't have a live stream. So it might not be till like 2 Thursdays. But whenever it is, I can't wait to tell you guys all about whatever happened. So, all right, guys. Any of you guys going to be in Sydney, stay tuned on like Instagram and Strava Run Club, Kovazi Run Club. I'll let you guys know if we figure anything out there. And for everyone else, stay safe, enjoy your training, enjoy some balmy weather. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.